Eckhart Tolle is a modern-day spiritual teacher. He offers profound insights into the human condition. His teachings resonate with millions worldwide. Through his best-selling books and lectures, Tolle has become a leading voice in the field of personal growth and spirituality. He invites us to question our assumptions about who we are and what truly matters. Tolle's message is simple, yet transformative. He emphasizes the importance of living in the present moment. He believes that our true nature is one of peace and joy. This state lies beneath the surface of our thoughts and emotions. His teachings draw from a variety of spiritual traditions. He integrates ancient wisdom with contemporary psychology. Tolle's approach is both practical and profound. He provides tools for navigating the challenges of modern life. His teachings encourage self-awareness, compassion, and a deep connection to the present moment. At the core of Tolle's philosophy is the concept of oneness. He suggests that our perception of separation from ourselves, others, and the world is an illusion. This illusion creates suffering and conflict. We identify with our thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. This identification leads us to believe we are separate entities. Tolle encourages us to recognize the interconnectedness of all things. He reminds us that we are part of a larger web of life. This web connects us to every living being. When we cling to the illusion of separation, we create division and suffering. By recognizing our interconnectedness, we cultivate compassion and understanding. We begin to see ourselves in others. We develop a sense of unity with all life. Awakening to oneness is a profound shift in consciousness. It involves transcending the limitations of our ego-based perception. The ego is the part of us that identifies with our thoughts and beliefs. It creates a sense of separation from others and the world. When we awaken to oneness, we experience a deep sense of peace and liberation. We realize that we are not our thoughts or emotions, we are something much greater. This realization allows us to live with more joy, love, and acceptance. The journey to oneness is a process of self-discovery and transformation. It requires us to cultivate present moment awareness. We must learn to observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment. Tolle's most famous book, The Power of Now, emphasizes the transformative power of present moment awareness. He argues that the present moment is the only place where true peace and fulfillment can be found. Our minds are often lost in thoughts of the past or worries about the future. This mental chatter creates anxiety and suffering. By bringing our attention to the present moment, we free ourselves from the grip of our thoughts. We connect with the aliveness and beauty of life that is always unfolding around us. The present moment is where life happens. It is the only place where we can experience true joy, love, and peace. Tolle provides practical techniques for cultivating present moment awareness. These include focusing on the breath, paying attention to our senses, and practicing gratitude. Realize deeply that the present moment is all you ever have. This powerful statement by Ekhart Tolle encapsulates the essence of his teachings on present moment awareness. It's a call to awaken from the dream of past and future and to fully embrace the reality of now. We often dwell on past experiences, replaying memories in our minds and carrying the weight of what has been. Similarly, we project our hopes and fears onto the future, creating anxiety and anticipation. However, Tolle reminds us that both the past and future are illusions. The past is gone, and the future is yet to come. The only reality is the present moment. When we fully embrace this truth, we step out of the endless cycle of thinking and into the realm of being. In the present moment, there is no room for worry, regret, or fear. There is only the aliveness of what is. One of the biggest obstacles to present moment awareness is our own ego. Tole describes the ego as a false sense of self that is constructed from our thoughts, beliefs, and memories. It is the voice in our head that constantly judges, compares, and analyzes. The ego thrives on identifying with past experiences and future projections. It tells us who we are, what we should be doing, and how we should be feeling. This constant mental chatter pulls us away from the present moment and keeps us trapped in a cycle of suffering. Tole encourages us to become aware of our ego's voice. He suggests that we observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment. By simply noticing these thoughts without engaging with them, we can begin to detach from the ego's grip. This detachment allows us to experience a sense of peace and freedom that is independent of our thoughts and emotions. The past has no power over the present moment. This quote by Tole highlights the liberating truth that we are not bound by our past experiences. While our past may have shaped who we are, it does not define who we can become. We often carry the weight of past mistakes, regrets, and traumas. These burdens can weigh us down and prevent us from fully embracing the present moment. Tole teaches that true freedom comes from releasing the past and embracing the present. He emphasizes that every moment is a new beginning. We have the power to choose how we respond to the present moment, regardless of what has happened in the past. By letting go of the past, we open ourselves to the possibility of transformation and growth. We free ourselves to create a future that is not limited by our past experiences. In today's fast-paced world, it can be challenging to find moments of stillness and peace. Our minds are constantly bombarded with information, distractions, and demands. However, Tole reminds us that stillness is not something we find outside of ourselves. It is a state of being that we cultivate within. You find peace not by rearranging the circumstances of your life, but by realizing who you are at the deepest level. This quote emphasizes the importance of connecting with our true nature, which is beyond the reach of our thoughts and emotions. Tole suggests that we can access this stillness through the practice of presence. By bringing our attention to the present moment, we can quiet the noise of the mind and tap into the peace that resides within. This inner stillness is always available to us regardless of what is happening in our external environment. When we live in the present moment, we open ourselves to a world of joy and wonder that is often hidden from view. We begin to appreciate the simple pleasures of life, such as the warmth of the sun on our skin, the taste of a delicious meal, or the sound of laughter. Tole teaches that true joy is not something we pursue in the future. It is a state of being that arises naturally when we are fully present in the moment. Joy is your sorrow unmasked. It is sorrow without its mask, and that's why it's so much more powerful, so much more fulfilling. It's the very thing that you were seeking through your sorrow. This quote highlights the interconnectedness of all emotions. Tole suggests that when we embrace our sorrow without resistance, we allow it to transform into joy. The path to joy is through presence, acceptance, and the willingness to embrace all aspects of our experience. In the realm of spiritual awakening, Ekhart Tolle's teachings guide us toward a profound realization, transcending the limitations of the ego. He posits that the ego, often perceived as our identity, is merely a construct of the mind, a collection of thoughts, beliefs, and experiences that create an illusion of separateness. The ego is not who you are, Tole asserts, urging us to look beyond this limited sense of self. He emphasizes that the ego thrives on identification with external factors, possessions, achievements, and even relationships. This attachment to the fleeting nature of the material world, Tole argues, leads to suffering and disconnection from our true essence. To break free from the ego's grip, we must embark on a journey of self-discovery. a process of disentangling our true selves from the web of thoughts and beliefs that bind us. This process, Tole suggests, involves cultivating present moment awareness, a state of being fully present in the now, free from the clutches of past regrets and future anxieties. Through this practice, we begin to observe the ego's machinations without judgment, recognizing its patterns and tendencies without identifying with them. Central to Eckhart Tolle's teachings is the concept of the pain body, an accumulation of past emotional pain that can lodge itself within our being, influencing our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. The pain body wants to survive, Tole explains, noting that it seeks to perpetuate itself by drawing us into negative thought patterns and emotional reactivity. This accumulation of pain, he suggests, can stem from childhood traumas, past relationships, or even societal conditioning. It manifests as a heavy, dense energy that can cloud our perception and hinder our ability to experience joy and peace. Tole emphasizes that the pain body is not who we are. It is simply a collection of energy that we have unconsciously identified with. To heal from the pain body's grip, we must first become aware of its presence. This involves paying attention to our thoughts and emotions, noticing when we are triggered, and recognizing the patterns that keep us stuck in cycles of suffering. By bringing consciousness to the pain body, we begin to disentangle ourselves from its hold. Underlying Eckhart Tolle's teachings is a profound message of interconnectedness, a recognition that beneath the surface level of individuality lies a shared human experience that binds us together. We are all connected, Tole reminds us, emphasizing that our sense of separation from others is an illusion perpetuated by the ego. This illusion, he argues, leads to conflict, prejudice, and a lack of empathy. When we recognize our shared humanity, we begin to see ourselves reflected in the eyes of others. We acknowledge that we all share the same basic needs for love, acceptance, and belonging. Tole encourages us to cultivate compassion, both for ourselves and for others. He suggests that true compassion arises not from pity or judgment, but from a deep understanding that we are all on this journey of life together. When we approach others with this understanding, we create a space for genuine connection and empathy. In the pursuit of deeper connections, Eckhart Tolle highlights the transformative power of forgiveness, not as a condoning of past transgressions, but as a liberation from the chains of resentment and anger. Forgiveness is the key to happiness, Tole asserts, emphasizing that holding on to grudges only perpetuates our own suffering. He explains that forgiveness is not about condoning the actions of others, but rather about freeing ourselves from the negative emotions that keep us tethered to the past. When we forgive, we choose to release the anger, resentment, and bitterness that poison our hearts and minds. This act of forgiveness, Tole suggests, does not erase the past, but it allows us to move forward with a lighter heart, free from the burden of carrying past grievances. Forgiveness, he emphasizes, is ultimately a gift we give to ourselves, a path to inner peace and liberation from the pain of the past. At the heart of Eckhart Tolle's teachings lies a profound message about the importance of cultivating compassionate connections, both with ourselves and with others. He suggests that true connection arises from a place of presence, acceptance, and a willingness to see beyond the superficial. Love is not a selective act, Tole states, emphasizing that genuine love embraces all beings, regardless of their perceived flaws or shortcomings. He encourages us to move beyond judgment and criticism, recognizing that everyone is on their own unique journey. Tole suggests that true compassion begins with self-acceptance. When we learn to embrace ourselves fully, with all our imperfections and vulnerabilities, we create a foundation for extending that same compassion to others. This practice of self-compassion, he argues, allows us to approach relationships with a greater sense of understanding, empathy, and unconditional love. By cultivating compassionate connections, we create a more harmonious and fulfilling experience of life. In a world often characterized by chaos and uncertainty, the pursuit of inner peace stands as a timeless human aspiration. Eckhart Tolle, a renowned spiritual teacher, offers profound insights into the nature of true peace, guiding us toward a state of serenity that transcends the turbulence of the external world. Peace is not the absence of conflict, Tolle asserts, challenging the common notion that peace is merely the absence of external turmoil. He emphasizes that true peace emanates from within, a deep sense of tranquility that remains unshaken amidst life's inevitable storms. Tolle suggests that our true nature is one of peace, a state of being that lies beneath the surface level of our thoughts, emotions, and external circumstances. However, we often become so caught up in the dramas of our lives that we lose touch with this inherent peace. To reconnect with our inner sanctuary, Tolle encourages us to cultivate a practice of presence, a state of being fully engaged in the present moment without dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. Central to Eckhart Tolle's teachings is the transformative power of stillness, a state of mental quietude that allows us to access the depths of our being. You find peace not by rearranging the circumstances of your life, but by realizing who you are at the deepest level, Tolle explains, highlighting that true peace is not found in external achievements or possessions, but rather in the depths of our own being. He suggests that our minds are often cluttered with a constant stream of thoughts, worries, and anxieties, creating a state of inner turmoil that prevents us from experiencing true peace. To cultivate stillness, Tolle encourages us to engage in practices that quiet the mind, such as meditation, mindfulness, or simply spending time in nature. These practices, he suggests, help us to detach from the incessant chatter of our thoughts and connect with the present moment, where peace resides. In the stillness of the present moment, we can access a deep sense of tranquility that transcends the fluctuations of our thoughts and emotions. Section 3. Detachment, Finding Freedom from Within. Eckhart Tolle's teachings emphasize the importance of detachment, not as a form of emotional withdrawal but as a pathway to inner freedom and peace. The primary cause of unhappiness is never the situation, but your thoughts about it, Tolle explains, highlighting that our suffering often stems not from external circumstances themselves, but from our attachment to them. We cling to possessions, relationships, and outcomes, believing that our happiness depends on their presence or absence. This attachment creates a sense of dependency and vulnerability, leaving us susceptible to disappointment, anxiety, and fear. Detachment, in the context of Tolle's teachings, involves recognizing the impermanent nature of all things. It is a shift in perspective that allows us to appreciate the present moment without clinging to it or fearing its passing. When we detach from our desires and expectations, we free ourselves from the suffering that arises from attachment. Section 4. The Art of Acceptance. In the pursuit of inner peace, Eckhart Tolle highlights the transformative power of acceptance, a practice of embracing the present moment without resistance or judgment. Acceptance looks like a passive state, but in reality it brings something entirely new into this world, Tolle explains, challenging the common perception that acceptance implies resignation or complacency. He emphasizes that true acceptance is an active state of being, a conscious choice to embrace what is, without wishing it were different. This does not mean that we condone injustice or resign ourselves to suffering. Rather, it is a recognition that resistance to what is only creates more suffering. When we accept the present moment, even when it is challenging or painful, we create a space for healing and transformation. Acceptance allows us to approach life's challenges with a sense of peace and equanimity, knowing that all things are impermanent and that this too shall pass. Section 5. Embracing the present moment. At the heart of Eckhart Tolle's teachings lies a profound emphasis on the transformative power of present moment awareness, a state of being fully present in the now, free from the clutches of past regrets and future anxieties. Realize deeply that the present moment is all you ever have, Tolle reminds us, urging us to shift our focus from the mental constructs of past and future to the immediacy of the present experience. He emphasizes that the present moment is the only place where life truly unfolds, where we can experience joy, love, and peace. Our minds, however, are often preoccupied with thoughts that pull us away from the present, leading us down rabbit holes of worry, regret, and anticipation. Tolle suggests that by cultivating present moment awareness, we can break free from this mental chatter and reconnect with the aliveness of the now. Through practices such as mindfulness, meditation, and conscious breathing, we can train our minds to become more present, allowing us to experience the peace and joy that reside in the here and now. Eckhart Tolle's teachings on love transcend the conventional understanding of love as a fleeting emotion or a conditional exchange. He invites us to delve into the depths of our being, where true love resides as an unwavering presence, a radiant energy that emanates from within. Love is not to be found outside of ourselves, Tolle asserts, challenging the notion that love is something we seek from others or external circumstances. He emphasizes that true love is not dependent on external factors, such as physical appearance, social status, or shared interests. It is a state of being, a quality of presence that we cultivate within ourselves. Tolle distinguishes between love and attachment, highlighting that attachment often stems from a place of neediness or a desire to possess or control another person. This form of love, he suggests, is conditional and often leads to suffering when expectations are not met. True love, on the other hand, is unconditional and liberating. It is a willingness to embrace another person fully, with all their imperfections and vulnerabilities, without seeking to change or control them. At the heart of Eckhart Tolle's teachings on love lies a profound message of interconnectedness, a recognition that beneath the surface level of individuality lies a shared essence, a spark of divinity that unites us all. We are all connected, Tolle reminds us, emphasizing that our sense of separation from others is an illusion perpetuated by the ego. This illusion, he argues, leads to conflict, prejudice, and a lack of empathy. When we recognize the other as self, we begin to see ourselves reflected in the eyes of every being we encounter. We acknowledge that we are all on this journey of life together, each navigating our own unique set of challenges and triumphs. This recognition fosters a deep sense of compassion and understanding, allowing us to approach others with kindness, empathy, and a willingness to forgive. Tolle suggests that true love requires us to transcend the limitations of our ego-based perception, to move beyond the illusion of separateness and recognize the inherent unity that binds us together. Eckhart Tolle's teachings highlight the transformative power of compassion, a quality of the heart that allows us to connect with others on a deep and meaningful level. Compassion is a verb, Tolle asserts, emphasizing that compassion is not merely a sentiment or an emotion, but rather an active practice, a way of being in the world. True compassion, he suggests, arises from a place of deep understanding and empathy, a recognition that everyone is doing the best they can with the resources and awareness they possess. Tolle differentiates between pity and compassion, noting that pity often carries an element of judgment or a sense of superiority. Compassion, on the other hand, is rooted in equality and respect. It is a willingness to meet others where they are, to offer a listening ear, a kind word, or a helping hand without judgment or expectation. When we approach others with compassion, we create a space for healing, growth, and transformation. In the realm of love and relationships, Eckhart Tolle emphasizes the transformative power of forgiveness, not as a condoning of past transgressions, but as a liberation from the chains of resentment and anger. Forgiveness is the key to happiness, Tolle asserts, highlighting that holding on to grudges only perpetuates our own suffering. He explains that forgiveness is not about condoning the actions of others, but rather about freeing ourselves from the negative emotions that keep us tethered to the past. When we forgive, we choose to release the anger, resentment, and bitterness that poison our hearts and minds. This act of forgiveness, Tolle suggests, does not erase the past, but it allows us to move forward with a lighter heart, free from the burden of carrying past grievances. Forgiveness, he emphasizes, is ultimately a gift we give to ourselves, a path to inner peace and liberation from the pain of the past. It allows us to cultivate more loving and harmonious relationships in the present moment. Eckhart Tolle's teachings offer practical guidance on cultivating more love in our daily lives. He suggests that love is not a grand gesture reserved for special occasions, but rather a way of being that permeates every aspect of our experience. Love is not selective, just as the light of the sun is not selective, Tolle explains, emphasizing that true love embraces all beings, regardless of their perceived flaws or shortcomings. He encourages us to practice small acts of kindness and compassion throughout the day, to offer a smile to a stranger, to listen attentively to a friend in need, to extend forgiveness to those who have wronged us. Tolle suggests that by shifting our focus from judgment and criticism to acceptance and understanding, we can begin to transform our relationships and create a more loving and harmonious world. He reminds us that love is not something we find outside of ourselves, but rather a quality of presence that we cultivate within. By embodying love in our thoughts, words, and actions, we become beacons of light, radiating love and compassion into the world around us. Eckhart Tolle's teachings invite us to awaken to a profound realization. We are not isolated individuals but interconnected beings woven into the intricate tapestry of life. He challenges the illusion of separation that pervades our modern world, urging us to recognize the profound unity that binds us to every living creature and element on Earth. We are all part of one grand symphony of life, Tolle reminds us, emphasizing that each species, each organism, plays a vital role in maintaining the delicate balance of the ecosystem. He encourages us to contemplate the intricate web of relationships that sustains life on Earth. The air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we consume, all gifts from the natural world. Tolle suggests that when we view ourselves as separate from this web, we lose sight of our inherent interconnectedness and begin to act in ways that harm ourselves and the planet. By recognizing our place within this web of life, we cultivate a sense of responsibility for our actions, understanding that even the smallest choices can have far-reaching consequences. Section 2. Beyond the Separate Self. Ekhart. Tolle's teachings on oneness challenge us to look beyond the confines of our individual egos and embrace a more expansive sense of self. He suggests that the ego, with its incessant need for separation and distinction, creates a false sense of isolation that prevents us from experiencing the profound unity that lies at the heart of existence. The ego loves to emphasize the other, Tolle explains, highlighting how the ego thrives on division and comparison, constantly seeking to establish its own identity by contrasting itself with others. This tendency to focus on differences, he argues, blinds us to the underlying unity that connects us all. Tole invites us to engage in practices that dissolve the illusion of the separate self, such as meditation, mindfulness, and spending time in nature. These practices, he suggests, help us to quiet the incessant chatter of the ego and connect with the stillness and silence that reside within, where the boundaries between self and other begin to dissolve. Section 3. Nature's Wisdom. Eckhart Tolle's teachings often draw inspiration from the natural world, highlighting the profound wisdom and interconnectedness inherent in all living things. He encourages us to view nature not merely as a resource to be exploited, but as a wise teacher and a reflection of our own true nature. Nature can teach us a lot about living in harmony, Tole suggests, pointing to the effortless flow and balance that characterize the natural world. He invites us to observe how trees stand tall and rooted, drawing nourishment from the earth and offering shade and oxygen in return, how rivers flow effortlessly toward the ocean, carrying life-giving water to countless beings along the way. Tole suggests that by attuning ourselves to the rhythms and cycles of nature, we can gain valuable insights into our own place within the interconnected web of life. He encourages us to spend time in nature, to observe its beauty and wisdom, and to allow its tranquility to soothe our minds and hearts. Section 4. Harmony in Diversity. Eckhart Tolle's teachings emphasize that true oneness does not imply uniformity but rather celebrates the richness and diversity of life on Earth. He suggests that just as a symphony orchestra creates a harmonious whole from a multitude of different instruments, so too does the diversity of life on Earth contribute to the beauty and resilience of the planet. Diversity is the spice of life, Tole reminds us, highlighting how the unique qualities and contributions of each species enrich the tapestry of life as a whole. He encourages us to approach differences with curiosity and respect, recognizing that each culture, each tradition, each individual has something valuable to offer. Tole suggests that when we embrace diversity, we open ourselves to a wider range of perspectives, experiences, and possibilities. He invites us to celebrate the richness and complexity of life on Earth, understanding that our differences are not a source of division but rather a testament to the creativity and abundance of the universe. Eckhart Tolle's teachings on oneness are not merely philosophical concepts but rather a call to action, an invitation to live our lives in alignment with the profound interconnectedness that binds us all. He suggests that when we embody the principle of oneness, our actions naturally reflect a deep respect for all beings and a commitment to creating a more just and sustainable world. Every act of kindness ripples outward, Tole reminds us, emphasizing the interconnected nature of our actions. He suggests that when we act from a place of oneness, our choices have the power to inspire others and create a ripple effect of positive change in the world. Tole encourages us to cultivate practices that foster a sense of interconnectedness, such as compassion, gratitude, and forgiveness. He suggests that by embodying these qualities in our daily lives, we contribute to the creation of a more harmonious and compassionate world for all beings. Throughout his profound teachings, Eckhart Tolle guides us on a transformative journey toward embracing the fundamental truth of oneness, the realization that we are not isolated individuals but interconnected beings sharing a common essence. This journey begins within, with a shift in perspective, a recognition that our true nature is not defined by the limitations of the ego, but rather by the boundless expanse of consciousness itself. Tole invites us to look beyond the surface level of our thoughts, emotions, and experiences, to delve into the depths of our being where stillness, peace, and unity reside. This inner journey, he suggests, is not a retreat from the world but rather a homecoming, a rediscovery of our true nature as interconnected beings woven into the intricate tapestry of life. As we cultivate present moment awareness, we begin to recognize the interconnectedness of all things, how our thoughts, words, and actions create ripples that extend far beyond the confines of our individual lives. Embracing the oneness within, Tole suggests, is not a passive concept but rather an active practice, a way of being in the world that transforms not only ourselves but also the world around us. Eckhart Tolle's teachings challenge us to question our deeply ingrained beliefs about the nature of reality, inviting us to consider the possibility that our perception of separation is merely an illusion, a construct of the ego mind that prevents us from experiencing the profound interconnectedness that lies at the heart of existence. This shift in perspective from separation to oneness has the power to transform our relationships, our communities, and ultimately, our world. When we view ourselves as separate from others, we create artificial boundaries that lead to conflict, competition, and a sense of scarcity. However, when we recognize our interconnectedness, we begin to see the world through a lens of compassion, understanding, and unity. This shift in perspective allows us to approach challenges collaboratively, seeking solutions that benefit the whole rather than perpetuating cycles of division and harm. Embracing oneness, Tole suggests, is not about erasing our individuality but rather about recognizing that our individual well-being is inextricably linked to the well-being of all beings. Living a life of oneness is not a utopian ideal but rather a conscious choice, a commitment to aligning our thoughts, words, and actions with the understanding that we are all interconnected. It is about recognizing that every interaction, every encounter, is an opportunity to express our inherent unity and to contribute to the creation of a more compassionate and harmonious world. Tole suggests that living a life of oneness begins with cultivating present-moment awareness, a practice that allows us to step out of the incessant chatter of the ego mind and connect with the stillness and silence that reside within. From this place of inner peace, we can approach the world with greater clarity, compassion, and understanding. Living a life of oneness also involves embracing practices that foster interconnectedness, such as compassion, gratitude, forgiveness, and generosity. These qualities, Tole suggests, are not merely virtues to be cultivated, but rather expressions of our true nature as interconnected beings. The ripple effect of oneness is a powerful force for positive change in the world. When we embody the principle of oneness in our lives, our actions create a ripple effect that extends far beyond the confines of our immediate sphere of influence. Each act of kindness, each gesture of compassion, each moment of forgiveness sends out waves of love and healing into the world, inspiring others to do the same. As we awaken to the truth of oneness, we become conscious participants in the evolution of consciousness itself. We recognize that our individual choices have the power to contribute to the creation of a more just, compassionate, and sustainable world for all beings. Tole reminds us that we are not helpless bystanders in the face of global challenges, but rather powerful agents of change. When we embrace oneness, we tap into a collective power that has the potential to transform not only our individual lives, but also the world we share. The journey toward oneness is an ongoing process, a lifelong exploration of our interconnectedness with all things. It is a journey that begins within, with a shift in perspective, a willingness to question our assumptions, and a commitment to living in alignment with the truth of our interconnectedness.